Welcome to Elevate the Game, where DFW's top leaders drop gems on success, strategy, and legacy, with your hosts George Abreu and Eric Badiwala. Let's get into it.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Elevate the Game podcast. My name is Eric Badiwala. I'm going to be your host today, and we have a real cool guest on today. His name is James Clent, and we're happy to have him. Every single week we are interviewing different leaders in different spaces, and the idea is for us to deliver value by conversation to you to help you in your personal life, in your business life, whatever it may be. So whether it be IT or healthcare or technology or whatever space you may be in, dentistry. We've covered it all on this podcast. But today, James, he is a leader in the IT space. He's been in the space for about 20 years, and we're going to be talking about how he helps companies with people, technology, and process, and just making companies overall better from a top line perspective. So, want to welcome you, James. Thanks for being here, man, and excited to be here and chat with you today.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, I'm grateful to be here. Thanks for having me on the show, and look forward to what we discussed today. It's going to be interesting because there is so much going on in the world.
Yeah, there is. It's a wild time. I mean, there's always things going on in the world, no matter what. I know we just had like the State of the Union actually here locally, right? Last night, a lot of people tuned in. I actually missed it, but got kind of a summary of it. But yeah, lots of things going on all the time. So anyway, James, let's get into it. So why don't we just tell us a little bit about you, your background, and how you got started in the IT space, and as a consultant, really, and a little bit about your background, just so the audience can get to know you a little bit.
Yeah. So I always start at the beginning because that was a lucky strike for me. As you can see behind me, I like to play some things that are made from wood. And as I explained to my children, I was 18 years old. I got some money back from the tax man for a summer job, and I was standing in front of basically a big store, and I could choose between a new guitar amp or a Commodore 64 computer. I bought the computer. It shaped my future. So I'm
That's
still a
usually how it starts,
musician.
man.
Yeah, I'm still a musician, but it shaped my future. After that, I got to work for IBM for 15 years, mostly in manufacturing and distribution, not so much in IT. But because I had the computer, I slowly rolled into IT processes of automating distribution, manufacturing processes, systems around that, accounting systems, because I also have an accounting degree. And so that helped me move forward and ended up ultimately in the United States at the end of the last century, and rolled into different roles, worked in utilities, worked in healthcare, and started my first role as a CIO in the beginning of the 2000s for a company called DaVita. That's a large dialysis organization, and they had a pharmacy at the time, and they needed somebody that could run IT and understood distribution because they were doing mail order pharmacy work. And that was my first CIO role. I'm still grateful for them for giving me that. They challenged me significantly. I received a coach, which was very helpful because the first time in the C's chair, you become aware of how lonely it is and what you think you know, but more what you really don't know. And so rolled into that and then went through various organizations as a C-level for the last 22 years. And when COVID started, I was in the hotel business at Remington Hotels, hospitality, and they laid off 95% of the workforce. All hotels
Oh,
closed
wow.
in March of 2020. And then I started, I got some opportunities to do consulting. Did consulting with a large convenience store gas station company in the Midwest. They are about $9 billion and helped them. They were looking at mobilizing their website. And they really were copying their website onto a mobile device, and that didn't work. So I sat down with them and said, listen, you have pumps. Everybody gets to the pump, but you want them to get them in the store too. So what you should do is have a mobile app that allows them to get coupons and other things that they have on their phone. The beautiful thing of that is they drive up to the pump. When we did this in the hotel space too, you can open your door at the hotel with your phone. You can unlock your hotel room door. Well, you can do the
Yeah.
same thing with a gas station, right? I get to the pump. I'm there. My phone, the pump has a little device, Bluetooth device, radio that sees the device, and it says, "Hey, I see you. You don't have to type anything. You don't have to swipe a card. I know who you are. You're a member of ours. I have your information. I can immediately start working with you." So having been in loyalty as well, you look at what kind of engagement can you create with that customer? What do you know about the family, etc. And so if you have data stored, like, hey, I saw you just bought 5 pizzas. They do a lot of pizza.
Yeah.
There's something special going on, birthday in the family. Yes. Okay. So next year when they come by, hey, there's a birthday. We have a special on pizzas. You want to come by and get some? So you can do some marketing and some sales right there. The other thing that you really can do, which is very beneficial, is you can do something that's called geofencing. What does that mean? We know where your phone is. Now, instead of giving people coupons and 10% discount and what have you, you start geofencing your competition in the city.
Yeah.
So let's assume I'm in Dallas and I have 4 gas stations. But around those 4 gas stations, I have competitors that also have gas stations. So I geofence them. As soon as I see you drive into my competitor's gas station, guess what? Bing, notification. Hey, Eric, you know what? Today, 5 cents off per gallon, plus a special on Slurpees. What I'm
I'm in.
trying to do is to make you turn around and come to my station instead of going to the other station, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So you're building an engagement with the customer. You're doing active upsell, and you look at what their behaviors are and see if you can get them away from another location into your location so that you get the revenue instead of another. So those kind
Nice.
of top line consulting effect is what I do using the modern technology. In this case, it was mobility. But these days we have mobility, machine learning, AI, agents. You have all sorts of opportunities to improve that top line and create an engagement model with your customer.
Nice. So when somebody comes to you, James, and says, "Hey, now let's say they find you, I don't know, on the internet, right? Your website or whatever it may be, or through a referral, what is the problem that people come to you with and say, James, can you help me solve this problem?"
There are various. So most of the time, it's small to medium businesses that don't have an IT executive. The difference
Mhm.
between most of these companies is they have a techie person that can maintain a laptop. They can
Yeah.
update your phone, right? But they cannot think strategically about the future.
Yeah. They
So,
just got a computer guy, right?
right, they got a computer guy, and the computer guy is not an implementation guy. It's not a process guy. Yeah, they know how to make things work on the computer. And what you need is you have to have somebody that's heads up, that looks with you to, hey, what is the potential in the company? And that's a lot of interviewing. That's an understanding of processes, right? Which is
Mhm.
why for me, it's so useful that I have an accounting degree, I have a supply chain management degree, I have a corporate strategy, Mars MBA, and I have an IT solution. But I always look at what's the business need. Beautiful technology and bleeding edge is not what drives value. What drives value is solving your problems and helping you see opportunities that you didn't know were there. So we do interviewing. My latest client was a home health hospice company, and they were looking at how can we improve our processes because more and more government requirements drive my nurses to do admin work
Yeah.
and stupid admin work instead of helping people, which is what they went to school for and what they really want to do. So we are looking at AI being able to do ambient listening during a patient visit. We're looking at putting a tablet in the patient's hand so they can answer some questions while we're working with them. Ambient listening can do a lot with the large language models, AI, to interpret that data and automatically fill in the forms that need to be filled in the systems that they need to be filled in so that the nurses have more time left to do the work that they really want to do, which is take care
Yeah.
of people rather than sitting there fulfilling government requirements by copying data from one field to another, because that's not what they're there for, right?
Yeah, we don't need, yeah, they don't want to be doing data entry, right? They're not a
Right.
data entry clerk. Um,
So
you know,
instead of being able to support 4 people during a day, by creating that extra capacity, now they can do 5 people a day, which is
yeah,
great for the company because they're top line. It's great for the internal because the nurses are happier because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing,
yeah,
right? And it optimizes a whole bunch of things that have a positive effect on the outcomes.
yeah, and it boosts productivity overall, right?
Yep.
And it's crazy, James. I mean, there's so many, I feel like every podcast that I do, everyone is using AI. It's so wild, but it's such a great tool, like, I mean, I use ChatGPT every single day, and ChatGPT is just scratching the surface, but, I don't know. I'm just kind of curious. What are your thoughts on AI and where do you see it going in the next 5 years? And what do you see it doing in your business in the next 5 years?
Um, I'm using it momentarily, mostly to look at how do I market.
Hmm.
I drive solutions with it. So, for
Yeah.
instance, I had a client that needed a contract management solution, but they were not capable of paying $4,000 a year in subscription fee for whatever system, or they didn't want to. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I go to, in this case, I used Claude, and I had them just by some nice prompting, created a web-based contract management solution that they could use internally to put their contracts in. And Claude just builds that, right? Now I need to put some finer touches on it because graphically Claude's not that good.
Yeah.
But that's what I see. And it takes me maybe 2 days and they have a system that they can use. Where in the past they would have to pay $10,000 to get a system that
Yeah.
was tailored to their needs. Instead of using a spreadsheet that doesn't have all the alert functions and they don't understand, like, hey,
Yeah.
you need to approve this contract. Hey, this contract is up for renewal. You need to look at it. All those things. But AI can build that for you, and it's going further. We had in Loyalty Ventures, we built in Canada. Uh, we had a lot of interaction with customers that would buy up to cars with their miles that they had accumulated, but they had a lot of interactions with the company, and they were all people. We had a 600 people call center,
Hmm.
but a lot of these things we were able to do in in an app. Then with machine learning, we were able to learn patterns in their behavior, and we could have AI agents answer their questions. They never had to talk to a person, and all of it would be taken
Yeah.
care of. And it was at their time. It wasn't like I called the call center, but that's very close. You have to call between these hours, right? You don't want that. You want to have an answer when it's convenient for you. The second thing that we did is, again, we had demographic information. So again, we could reach out to them. Hey, you know, we see that you have a 13-year-old or daughter that's coming up and she has a 13-year-old birthday coming up. Here's the things that we know people buy as birthday presents for 13-year-old daughters or teenage daughters, early teenage daughters. And here's the way you can buy them with your miles. So you don't have to spend any money and we'll send them to your home. So especially working businessmen or women that are really busy and
Hmm.
have no time to go shopping for a 13-year-old girl, they really appreciate that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you are in a home improvement cycle and you're doing things, we allow you to research and see where things are better and in which store. We did that with Home Depot in Canada. You can buy things with miles. So again, you don't have to lay out cash, but you can use your miles that you have built up to do this.
So you can basically cater to any business based on their needs and just, come up with a custom plan to, like you said, to improve their bottom line or the top line. I mean, both, right? You're improving both, really.
Yep. But the important thing here is that, A, I need to talk to the people that run the business. Yeah. What are their needs? It's not like I come in and wave a magic wand and everything's better.
Oh, for
I can do
sure.
that. I can do the analysis, right? But typically, I need the folks that are running this company to talk to me, interviewing, look at where their pain points are, because there is
Hmm.
always pain points. Otherwise, they don't call me.
Yeah. Yeah. If everything's running smooth, they're not calling. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the secret of IT. A great IT department, you don't know it's there.
Yeah.
Um, but then also look at process, because everybody used to talk about digital transformation, and they still do with AI and ML and what have you. Um, but it's not. It's never digital transformation. It's business transformation using digital means. Right? It's
Mm.
still a tool. It's not the objective itself. Right? And so, what tools do I not know about? Because if I'm a dentist or I run dentist offices or I'm a physician or I don't know this stuff. I'm too busy with keeping
Yeah.
my licensure up to date. I keep busy with making sure that my accounts receivables come in, make sure that I can schedule my patients. Oh, and by the way, I do want to have a vacation too. I have a day job, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
everybody has a day job. And so being able to think about these things is hard. And my expertise in all these different verticals, healthcare, manufacturing, distribution, software, utilities, there's a whole bunch of them, hotel space, um, helps looking at what have we done in other areas? Can it be applied here? But also I have knowledge. I can talk to you as an equal. You're not talking to an
Mhm.
IT person that sits there and after 5 minutes you pull out your phone because you lost him because he was talking about the backup schedule of the exchange servers that really is vulnerable to. No, once I start talking that way, I've lost my customer. I need
Yeah.
to
No,
talk their
100%.
language, right? They need to feel that I understand what they are talking about and that I can translate that in something that might be of interest.
Yeah, you're building the foundation for, your game plan that you're going to be, offering them.
Yep.
So ultimately you can improve their processes.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
building trust
yeah.
because here's this guy coming in. I don't know anything about him. Why would I give the keys to my
Yep.
safe to this person, right?
Piece of the
And
business or yeah.
yeah, it's still people business. And that's the one thing with AI. I've seen a lot of things that AI can do. What it cannot do right now is be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a musician and I've played with AI in the music business too. And let me give you an example. 2 years ago, it couldn't put a proper scale together, just a musical scale, A, B, S, Sol, D, Sol, Mi, Fa, Do, La, Di, So. It couldn't. It couldn't make anything out of that. These days,
Yeah.
it builds songs for you with lyrics. I did something fun for my friends. I wrote a, this is funny. I wrote a Bollywood song. So I asked it to write me the lyrics in Hindi. I don't read Hindi, but in Hindi, my friends looked at it and said, "Well, that's really sappy." And then I asked it to write the music with it, and boom, there is a Bollywood song that is original and nobody's heard it, but it's made by AI.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy. Yeah.
yeah, but it's cookie cutter. How does it put it together? It puts it together by querying millions of sources and then
Yeah.
saying, "Okay, with this prompt, what do I do?" Being creative is different,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, there's nothing that is going to ever replace creativity and personal touch and human touch, right?
right?
And although AI is fantastic, we just need to use it as a tool. But the people business will always be the people business. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why it's people, right? People want to feel human interaction.
Yeah, but
Um,
look at OpenAI. They just offered. They're about to offer this year um, digital programmers, meaning a programmer that is a computer that is not
wow.
you for $1,000 a week, which in a 40-hour work week is $25 an hour. But guess what? The computer doesn't work 40 hours work week. It runs 7 days, 24/7.
Yeah, it runs
So
20%. Yeah.
yeah, so your hourly dollar value is way lower. The
Yeah.
problem is us humans are not very good at writing specs.
Yeah.
What do we really want it to do? And thinking it all through. And so the biggest problem in the future with AI is going to be proper testing to make sure that what is intended to be achieved really achieved. Now AI can help with that as well. But again, you need to write what is it that you want to test. So that input, the knowledge of your business and what it needs to do and how it needs to do it, that's still proprietary yours.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of music, James, did you hear about that? There's a song that it came out. It was the number one song on the Billboard Country Digital Song list. It was
Mhm.
called "Walk My Walk," and nobody could even tell it was AI.
No, that's correct.
Yeah, that's
I've
wild.
looked I've looked at that as well. There is websites that can check music and see if it's AI or not.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, but what you can do these days is you can again, using technology, you can split out the stems. So the song is made, but then you take the bass line and the drums out,
Mm.
right? And then the lyrics, and you put an extra voice under there. And then you put it back together in your digital workstation, put it out there, and the systems cannot detect it's AI anymore because there is a human touch in
Yeah,
it.
it's true. It's like we only detect robots over here.
Yeah, and it's, you know what? It's wonderful. I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of things to happen. We
Yeah,
just have to make sure that it doesn't dumb us down, because the other side is AI can make mistakes.
yeah,
And
agreed.
I see a lot of the younger generation, they do everything in AI and they believe what it says.
Yeah, it's never 100% perfect. I mean, anything can make mistakes. Um, well, cool. I mean, that's some good insight there as to AI and where we're going and how you use it. I guess as we're kind of coming to a wrap here, James, what are some exciting initiatives that you have going on, at Elevate Success Solutions, over the next 6 months or for 2026?
Um, Personally, my wife and I are growing the business. My wife is mostly on the people side.
Yeah,
She spent 20 years as an executive coach and helping folks getting to that level. As I said, it really benefited me having a coach in the first CIO role. When you look up, you think, "Oh, I can do that," and then you're there, and it's like, "This is a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be," right?
yeah,
And so that helps. That's where we look at the people things, because people is still the biggest assets that most companies have. And for me, it's just integrating those AI and machine learning and digital opportunities into other companies that just don't have the time or resources to get into it. And that helps me translating that as a business person to their needs, and then providing the AI and machine learning opportunities that gives them the insights they need so that they can truly focus on what they do best. Yeah, what I've learned over the years is that most of the CEOs of companies get bogged down in the back office processes,
yeah,
accounting, HR, IT, what have you, while their focus should be on growing their business and bringing their service or their product to the market, and expanding that market, rather than spending 20 hours every week on problems at home,
yeah.
right? And so there is where I can truly help with people process, and that process leads then to digital solutions that can help making things easier.
Yeah. No, that's great. And a lot of our listeners, I mean, that's what they're looking to do, right? Is they're looking to improve their life, work less, have it easier, and then, be able to focus on family or, things like passive investing, right? Where they can earn additional income,
Right,
outside of their work, right? But if they're busy with all the busy work, then they'll never get there.
right,
Um, so obviously a lot of our listeners, we're in the apartment space and, a lot of our listeners, are always looking for passive income. But what are your thoughts, James, on just passive income in general? And, I guess maybe how are you, everything that you're doing is going to help people to concentrate on that, right? And give them more time, right? Give them back their life basically with all this busy stuff. But what are your thoughts on passive investing in general? And, is that something that, maybe some of your clients say, hey, can you make my life easier so I can go do other things on the side.
yeah. So passive investing is a great way of making sure that your wealth doesn't get devalued.
Yeah,
Um, there's a lot of talk about AI, and you've seen a lot of investments in AI. I think the returns on AI will slow down in the next 12 months, and so that's my first observation, because things become more mature. What I also see is that there is more and more larger companies leaving the blue states. So we see other
yeah,
refineries leaving California. We see Boeing leaving Chicago. We see New York now losing a lot of companies again. And so the states that are business friendly, um, the real estate market there is a real great investment opportunity, for the simple reason that these folks come out of expensive areas, get rid of their mortgage, need to reinvest that money, because otherwise that money goes, to the taxman. So they need
yeah,
to rebuy a home. And there is a shortage of homes in those states. There's building like crazy, but you want to live in a certain way. And so that being in that space for me, passive investment. And then I think AI and machine learning, but more importantly, the ability to directly respond to market fluctuations is is very important in the passive investment space. You
Yeah.
know, at Remington Hotels, we built, and Ashford, it's a REIT, we built a tool that looked at data from World Bank and Deutsche Bank and Wall Street to see where are activities going on, what are the hotspots in the countries, and what kind of decisions do we derive from that? Are we buying hotels? Are we selling hotels? I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Dallas Fort Worth area, but uh, 5 years ago, Toyota and Chase, JP Morgan Chase, moved a lot of their business into Plano area. And
Yeah.
so
Change the game for Plano.
yep, and the hospitality space was on fire because all these people that were traveling up and down, the consultants that were coming in to make everything work. So, the demand outgrew the supply like crazy. But at the same time, because people saw that, they started building hotels. So all of a sudden, there were like 5, 6, 7, 8 more hotels. What we saw is that at some point, we owned the big Marriott in Plano, right next door to where Toyota and JP Morgan were. And what we saw is that within about 2 years, that demand would just drop down because the projects were done, people were settled, they were all moved. So everybody was living here now that worked there. Um,
Yeah.
and we saw that the hotel would be, the supply would be too high and the demand too low. So 18 months before that was going to happen, projected wise, we sold the hotel
Hmm.
for the simple reason that it was a up market. Everybody wanted to own a hotel in that area because of the high demand. But
Yeah.
we saw the demand drop off. And so sold the hotel, made a great profit on it.
Good timing.
And the new owner had a problem 1.5 years later. But, that's
I mean,
America. That's the way it
that,
works.
that's a great point. James, everything of it is about timing, right? Especially in the real estate space. If the market's going up, it's a great time to offload something, right? And get your highest value. But sometimes, people get stuck on the short end of the stick there where they buy it and then, the market, corrects itself.
Yep.
But, I mean, that's anything, right? Business is never going to be, 100% steady. You're going to have ups and downs.
Yep.
It's just really about sometimes timing, strategy, process, and sometimes some luck too, right? You never know what the
Yep.
market's going to do. So I agree. When you're looking at passive investing, I mean, you definitely need to, keep that in mind and just be ready for, market corrections, right? Like right now, the market isn't great. The economy is in a shifting change, and I think people are still looking for improvement. Gas prices have gone down tremendously, but groceries are still expensive. We
Yep.
see it a lot in the apartment space where we have still a high amount of delinquency in apartments because people are losing their jobs, or they're moving back in with their parents because they can't afford their rent, so it's it definitely changes, right? But it's not always going to be that way.
No, but if you have the technology available to, instead of you doing the research and always being a little bit too late, if you can start having the technology available, AI, as I said, machine learning, data analysis, to be able to react earlier,
Yeah,
that makes a lot of difference in
get ahead of the
business.
game, correct?
Yep. So that's important. And then for me personally, um, my biggest achievement, and that has nothing to do with passive investment, that has everything to do with value of tools, is as I was working in the dialysis space, people are on death row. Three
Yeah,
days a week, 3 days a week, you're in that chair, all the blood gets pumped out of your body, it gets filtered and put back into your body. It's nasty. And we were able to take data from the nephrologist, which is the kidney doctor, the nurses, the social worker, the dietitians, and the pharmacy itself, and combine all of that together in a single model that helped the caregiving team to better understand the situation where the patient was, because dialysis patients are on Medicare. And by
yeah,
the way, Medicare has a donut hole, meaning you get so much paid, but if you go over that, then you don't pay for a while, it doesn't pay, and then it pays again.
yeah,
And we were able with that tool to improve the quality of life, reduce the number of hospitalizations, and the length of life. And for me to build a single IT tool that is really simple, that positively affected the life of 125,000 patients that are in, the worst situation in their life, um, made a lot of difference. For me, that is very important.
That's impactful.
Yeah, and they don't know that. They don't need to know it's me.
It's
not important, right? But it's
Yeah.
just the ability to be able to do that. That's amazing, and it's still running and it's still going, and it's anyway.
Well, I mean, I think that's a good way to top off our interview here, James. I mean, look, you're making a difference in the world, right? You're changing lives, and the best way is, they always say to do it under the radar, right? You don't need necessarily the recognition. You just need to know that you're making a difference, and that's what's
Yep.
important, right? What goes around comes around, and I think we need more people like that. So we appreciate you, James, for doing that, especially in that space, in the dialysis space. I mean, it's awesome. Um, so James, thanks a lot for your time today. I think this is great. You shared a lot of insight. It looks like you can definitely help a lot of our listeners. A lot of our listeners are different entrepreneurs, all different walks of life and business. So if somebody wants to get in contact with you, James, what's the best way to reach you? Do you have a website, email? What's the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, the best way is my website, which is elevatesuccess.solutions. So instead of .com, it's .solutions, and it's elevate success, one word, .solutions. And then my email is james@elevate success solutions. So welcome,
Awesome.
everybody. Make time for everyone always. It's, as I said, it's a people world.
Absolutely. Awesome, James. Appreciate your time. Until next time, we'll have hopefully we'll have you on again sometime soon as another guest. And to the audience, until next time, we'll see you on the next episode. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Elevate the Game. If you're a mover and shaker in DFW with game to share, apply to be a guest at elevatethegamepodcast.com/guest.